The deployment had already stretched nerves thin. Dust hung in the air, heat pressed against the men's bodies, and the constant hum of helicopters reminded everyone that danger was never far. On one particular afternoon, a convoy returning from a reconnaissance mission rolled into the forward operating base. The lead vehicle bore a bullet-riddled windshield and, inside, 2 men badly wounded. Blood soaked the floorboard, the smell of iron heavy in the air. The soldiers rushed out, shouting for a medic. At first, they only saw her, a young woman, smaller than most, wearing fatigues that looked almost too big for her frame. She had been working in the logistics tent, sorting supplies quietly, often overlooked by the hardened warriors around her. Few knew her name, fewer knew her story. She didn't hesitate. While others shouted and panicked, she sprinted toward the vehicle, ducking past the men to reach the wounded. Her hands moved with startling precision, as though guided by instinct. She checked pulses, applied tourniquets, and barked orders to stunned Marines twice her size. For a moment, the chaos obeyed her. "Pressure here. Keep in talking," she commanded, her voice steady. The men did as told, but not without side glances. Whispers passed, "Who is she? Logistics? How does she know this stuff?" One soldier muttered, "She's just a supply clerk, right? What the hell?" But when one of the wounded gasped and slipped closer to unconsciousness, she leaned over, sealing the wound with combat gauze, then directed 2 Marines to lift him onto a stretcher. Her movements were surgical, her calm unshakable. Later, inside the triage tent, the base's official medic, a tall, broad-shouldered Navy SEAL, entered. He expected to find chaos, but instead he found order. The supply girl had stabilized both casualties. For lines were running, airways clear, bleeding controlled. The SEAL medic froze for a moment, then a slow grin tugged at his mouth. "Well, I'll be damned," he said, loud enough for the whole tent to hear. "Looks like someone beat me to it." The soldiers around him exchanged confused glances. One finally spoke, "She just jumped in, document. None of us even knew she could do this." The SEAL medic crouched beside her, checking her work, then looked back at the others. "Gentlemen, you've been underestimating her. She's not just a supply clerk. She's trained." The room went silent. He continued, pride in his voice, "Before she joined us, she completed advanced trauma training. She's one of ours, a certified SEAL medic support operative. She just doesn't go around bragging about it." The men blinked, their assumptions shattering. The quiet woman they had passed in the chow hall, the one who never raised her voice, had just saved lives before the base's own combat medic had even arrived. One Marine muttered, half in awe, "And we thought she was just counting crates." Word spread through the base like wildfire. At dinner that night, soldiers who had barely noticed her before now looked at her with a mix of respect and guilt. They replayed the scene in their minds, the way she had commanded them without hesitation, how she had stepped into fire without flinching. Later that evening, the SEAL medic himself pulled her aside. "You didn't say anything," he said softly. She shrugged. "Wasn't the point. My job is to be ready when it counts." "You were more than ready," he said. "You were the difference between those men making it back or not." For the first time that day, she allowed herself a faint smile. In the following weeks, her presence at the base transformed. No one dismissed her again. Soldiers sought her advice, not just on medical matters but on discipline, endurance, and mindset. She had proven that strength wasn't always about muscle or swagger, it was about calm under pressure, about refusing to let fear dictate action. The 2 men she saved eventually recovered. When they were strong enough, they visited her, standing tall but humbled. One of them, his voice thick with gratitude, said, "You didn't just save me, you saved my family back home. I'll never forget what you did." She didn't respond with a speech or dramatics. Just a nod. Quiet, wordless, but powerful. Months later, when her deployment ended, the SEAL medic addressed the assembled troops before her departure. "Men, remember this, heroes don't always come wrapped in the package you expect. Today, you learned that heart, courage, and training can come from the most unassuming places. Don't ever underestimate the quiet ones. They may just be the ones who pull you back from the edge." She boarded the transport helicopter that day with little fanfare, but every man on that base knew they had witnessed something unforgettable. Her silence had spoken louder than any battle cry. And though she left wordless, her actions told a story that would be retold again and again. The day a supply clerk amazed battle-hardened warriors, when the SEAL medic revealed the truth of her training, and when everyone learned never to underestimate the strength hidden behind quiet eyes.